Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Kauai County Council Roundup. We are recapping this week's meeting that was held on April 3rd at the council chambers. My name is Mel Rapozo, council chair, along with Vice Chair Kipukai Kualii.
Aloha.
And we are here at the Ho'ike studios with our wonderful cameraman, Roger. Thank you for having us here. You folks all, you know, Ho'ike covers all of our meetings. We're currently in budget, and Ho'ike is there. You can watch our budget hearings live every morning starting at 9 o'clock. And our council and committee meetings every Wednesday at 8:30. You can watch it live on Ho'ike. Live on our website at www.kauai.gov, or you can watch the meetings, the archive meetings at Ho'ike as well, Channel 53. So we had a very short agenda, 3 items, although the meeting wasn't short. Just 3 bills that we, you know the process, we get a first reading when a bill is introduced, it gets sent to a public hearing, and then it comes back to the committee where we do our work. And we had 3 bills. The first one was golf course fees. About 6 months ago, we increased the golf course fees, and we asked the administration to review the impacts over the next 6 months, and they came back requesting a reduction in the twilight hours for our super seniors and our visitor rates. So that bill is pretty much a housekeeping bill, very little discussion, and that will show up next Wednesday for the final vote. But the following 2 bills were housing-related bills, and as you know, Kipukai is our housing committee chair right here. All the islands are struggling with housing for various reasons, and we are trying, the council and administration, trying to work together to figure out ways that we can increase supply, our inventory of housing units that are available to our local residents. And these were just two attempts at trying to get some more housing out there. The first one, and I'm going to turn it over to Kipukai, but the first one was really about housing credits. Whenever a developer builds a project on Kauai, there is a requirement to put out typically 20% of the units of the project. So if it's a 100-unit project, 20 units would have to be affordable or designated as workforce housing. So this involves, if a developer builds in excess of the 20%, they get credits, and this bill will allow the developers that give more than they need to an opportunity to get credit. So I'll let Mr.
The
Kualii.
county has a housing credit program now, a very small one. I think they put it in place 10, 15 years ago, quite a while ago, before me. And that is only strictly reserved for the State Department of the HHL. So what the housing agency is proposing now is to expand that program so that they can issue these credits to other developers. Again, could be a nonprofit developer, could be a for-profit private developer, but the idea is to encourage them to build affordable housing units beyond the 20% requirement, because we put a value on that. Agencies like the State Department of Hawaiian Homelands and maybe even Habitat for Humanity came and testified in strong support. They brought 3 of their folks and they all testified. That's in their mission, that's what they do anyway, but if they get the credits, then they can turn around and sell those credits to developers who maybe need to meet their 20% requirement, but don't want to do the affordable housing development themselves. So then they get the funds and then they do more housing development.
Let's use Habitat.
Yeah.
They're one of the more aggressive affordable housing developers. That's all they do. 80% of median income and below, which is the low income housing, and Habitat does a fantastic job, and we thank them. So happy to have them in our community. But let's say I am Habitat, and let's say here's Mr. Developer. And Mr. Developer is nice enough, he's developing a project, but my current project at Habitat, and it may be for 100 homes, and the requirement would be 20 homes, right? To be affordable, that meant I built 80 additional units that I didn't have to build, and I did build. So we provided 80 more affordable housing units in the community. I get credits for that 80 units that I built over the amount. that was required. Now, Mr. Developer here wants to develop a project, but as you know, if he's building a 100-unit project subdivision, and his requirement is 20 units that has to be affordable, he may not have the land, he may not have the financial resources to go out and construct 20 homes at the affordable rate, so he could purchase the 20 credits from Habitat. Now, Habitat gets that money, which is a significant amount of money, that Habitat would now have to use to build more affordable housing. So it is a win-win situation, and at the end of the day, the goal of the bill, the goal of the credit program is to incentivize and create additional opportunities for affordable housing units to be built.
Yeah, for all builders of all type to build more, to increase the inventory. And then one of the things I was interested in and wanting to see is I wanted to see the development of the lower AMI, like 80% or lower, the very low income bracket, to get more credit than for the higher income bracket. Because the private developer may choose just to build at the highest level. And granted, they're going to make more money at that level when they pencil it all out. So right now in the bill, it does allow for a full credit for 80% and lower, and basically the value of it is at 75% at 120%, and then 100% for 80% and lower. So Habitat would collect more credits than the private developer would. But the private developer is still also collecting credits because we want to incentivize everyone to be building.
And we gotta accept the fact, there was a time 15 years ago that the only real need in the community was affordable, the low income, 80% median income and below. But as you know today, and I know
The
you know
market
this,
doesn't provide it.
every level,
Yeah, even
even at the 120%. In other words, professional people, doctors, lawyers, school teachers, police officers, there's no inventory that is being sold, that are being sold at a rate that these people can afford. Everything, the median income, I mean, the median price of a home right now in Kauai is 1.4 million, which is out of reach for so many people. So, you know, we want to encourage development of all levels, but we want to focus the incentives on the low income, affordable, and workforce housing.
So I'm sure we spent probably over an hour on the bill, and a lot of council members had questions, and you know, and we ended up deferring the bill, so we're continuing to work on it, and that bill will come back in a month, I think on May 1st.
Yeah. There are other counties that have been experimenting with this, and I think some of the members, including myself, wanted to reach out to the other counties to see if there were any unintended consequences, any roadblocks, any obstacles. So, you know.
And to see the existing MOA, the agreement with the HHL, what's in there and how's that been working?
Yeah, so, you know, these types of bills that will impact a lot of people, you know, we really want to spend the time and not rush it through. So I appreciate Housing Chair Kualii allowing us the opportunity to defer for a month. Typically, when we defer a bill, it's usually for 2 weeks to the next committee meeting, but he was generous enough to allow us a month so we can do our work individually, to go get the research we needed, work with our staff and the administration to hopefully come up with enough information that in a month we can pass it out of committee and then off to full council.
And it's a good bill. I think it's a good thing. We got to do everything we can to encourage and incentivize and support more affordable housing. So just maybe a matter of us ironing out the details. And we want the public to come and participate as well. So.
Yeah. And then the second housing bill was relating to our housing list. So on Kauai, we have a housing program, and basically you need to be a resident of Kauai, and you apply, you register for the program, you need to attend a class, you need to complete the class, and it's a financial education workshop of home ownership.
I don't remember if he said 30 hours or 30 days, but it's not something you just turn around in a few hours
Yeah,
or a day.
I think
It's a series of education.
several meetings. I think they meet like once every 2 weeks. I can't remember what it is. But you're interested and you want to get on the housing list,
It's a
you need to
process.
go through that training process. And it's really simple. It's debt management, how to raise your credit score, how to save money, how to not, the Starbucks that you guys buying every day for $5 or $6 or
How to
$7,
not do that.
whatever.
Make
Yeah,
your own
stop.
coffee at
Yeah,
home.
make your own coffee, throw them in the bank, start saving money. But it's that type of financial literacy course. And once you complete that, then you go on the list and you sit on this list. And then as housing opportunity, county housing projects come available, whether it's for affordable or workforce housing, then the county housing agency goes through the list. So with that, I'll
Yeah,
turn it over to
and,
Mr.
and
Kualii.
they're basically what the county is trying to do with its program and list is try to give themselves the same ability to have preferences that they already allow the private developers to have. This we had a lot of discussion on this. I mean, back and forth, and I think it's going to take some work and maybe some amendments. But basically, the list, our home buyer list is like I think he said over 1,000. So there are a lot of people on the list. What the preferences they're looking to add is one for where if the person trying to get up higher on the list is working for the developer that is building the project. So they're going to be part of building the project that they may live in the future, may purchase. The other preference is, they call it a geographical preference, and that one is based on where you live and where you work. So if you live and or work where the project is, they would give you a preference for that too. I think a lot of the objections was basically on, there is the list, people have been on the list for a long time. Now, if somebody who's lower on the list, because you have to be on the list. It's not about, not being on the list and jumping over everybody. Even though I think one of the council members said, well, you can get on the list pretty easily. And so if you're at the bottom of the list, how far up can you jump? Because you have these, right? And I mean, we have to see how they're actually scoring it and
Yeah.
who.
Got a lot of work to do. I think, and I'll just speak for myself, and I was the one that asked that question about who can jump who on the list, because I think seniority does play a role, and I think when we add in these types of preferential treatment, I'll go back to, I live in Kauai right now, and I work in Lihui, and I might be number 310 on the list. Or let's say I'm number 8 on the list, and there's going to be 30 units becoming available in Waimea. I don't have a problem. I want to buy my first house. I want to buy my first house, and yes, I won't be working in Waimea, but I work in Lihui. I wouldn't mind buying a house in Waimea because home ownership is a lot of people's, that's their goal. But Mr. Kualii here, who happens to live maybe he lives in Anahola, but he works in Waimea, and he might be 321 on the list. So I've been on the list for a long time, but because I live in Lihui and I don't work in Waimea, I just lost a shot at owning my first home because Mr. Kualii got the preference because he's working out in Waimea. Or he has family out in Waimea. So I think we got to iron that out because I think you're going to discourage a lot of people, I think, from getting on this list. If you could be number 1 on the list, but because you're not working or living in the area that housing is going to be available, someone might be able to get in front of you. So a lot more discussion to have. And that one, again, was deferred till next week, Wednesday. So that one will come up real quick.
Yeah, and I mean, some of it, obviously, if we can get people to live closer to where they work, then they're not on the roads as much, so you help with the traffic problem. And I think a lot of people ideally don't want to have a long commute. Of course, it's all relative. A long commute here on Kauai is not like
That's right.
like on the continent where people drive hours, over an hour, maybe 2 sometimes to get to work. but not having to be in the traffic, living pretty close to where you work. So these kind of preferences will help the community at large. But then how are we impacting individuals? And I think some people feel like that they're already on the list. Just honor the list.
Yeah, I think you honor the list, and if, like I say, if I'm number 3 on the list and it's like Waimea, and I'm not going to drive to Lihue, I'm not going to move to Waimea and have to drive 1 hour every day, then I just say I don't want to move, and then it goes to number 4, and then to number 5, and then to number 6, and so yeah, I mean, I see the value of the intent of this, and it makes a lot of sense. Actually, it does. What example you just gave is you're going to put more cars on the road by having someone that's got to drive to Waimea every day from Kapa'a or Lihue to go to work. So yeah, I mean, that's what this process is all about. It's weighing the pros and the cons and then coming up with.
So I want to hear from people
yeah,
too,
I want
right?
to hear from all of you. I want to hear from all of you, but yeah, housing is an issue, and again, at $1.4 million, we got a lot of work to do in much more than just the list, and it's. We're always looking for suggestions. Our ears are always open, and whatever you guys can do to offer suggestions is much appreciated.
Yep. So.
But that was it.
Come check us out. 2 weeks in the one bill and a month in the other bill.
Yeah. Next week, Wednesday, we'll hear the bill on the preferences for the list, and in a month, actually 3 weeks, we will hear the tax credit bill. So. Again, this is Chair Mel Rapozo, Vice Chair, Council Member Kualii. We're at Hawike. Thank you, Hawike. Again, you can watch all of our meetings on Hawike Channel 53, or if you want to watch it live, www.kauai.gov. Hit the webcast meeting button. You can watch it live in the mornings every day for during the budget, or on Wednesdays during council meetings, or you can watch any archive meeting. We archive all of our meetings there on the website, so feel free to go check it out.
And our budget reviews are ongoing. Tomorrow we have police, fire, emergency management, and the prosecutors. And then next week, Monday and Tuesday, we wrap up with several more departments. I think transportation is one, and others.
Yeah, so
just the first round.
Yeah, this is the first round. Then we'll go through it, and if you want to watch those live, again, you can watch it live on www.kauai.gov and our website. We start at 9 o'clock for budget hearings, and then Wednesdays 8:30. So, with that, thank you for watching. Until next time, ahui ho. God bless, guys.
Aloha.
Take care.